faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. When the clock hits 12, you know where to be. Turn it up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend.
Welcome, brothers, welcome, sisters, welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, remember, we never have a subject matter. You speak on anything. We are 91.9, 91.5, Real FM. We are 94.9, We Noise FM in Brooklyn, New York. We always invite you, welcome you, and highly appreciate if you subscribe and share our program. That is one of the ways that we're able to spread local programs. You have to share it. And this morning, you could pick up the telephone and give us a call. The number to call is 4420175. A number of issues is going on locally, regionally, and internationally. And you can introduce your own topic. I still very much disappointed in CARICOM leaders. You have this impasse between the United States of America and Venezuela, and perhaps a massive build-up, a military hardware in the Caribbean, and there is no mediator. And anytime that situation arises, you could find mistakes, blunders, or unintentional action resulting in war. If the Caribbean want a zone of peace, the Caribbean should have people negotiating for peace. Instead of that, they're battering one another. I'm disappointed in Caribbean leaders. I called many weeks ago for them to set up a committee with Belize and the Bahamas and even Jamaica Prime Minister, because now a lot of goodwill is going to Jamaica because of the hurricane. To set up a committee to negotiate with Donald Trump. One of Donald Trump's big strategy is to make a deal. So instead of the CARICOM countries deteriorating the relationship between one another, it is in their interest to make a deal with Donald Trump. You have an issue where Venezuela has been an aggressor in the Caribbean, with Trinidad and Tobago, with Guyana. Perhaps that was a good opportunity to get Venezuela to recognize the boundaries of these countries in line with the international court, and United States to back off. I'm disappointed in CARICOM leaders. Ralph Gonzalez fighting for political survival. You have an election coming up in St. Lucia. Grenada Prime Minister is politically immature. So that leaves Mia Mottley. I'm disappointed in Mia Mottley. She picked up her sword. She was attacking America and Israel. Now is an opportunity to negotiate, to intercede, to mediate in the conflict. And that is what contributes to war. When you don't have peacemakers. In Grenada here, we are lacking peacemakers too. A number of actions is taking place that is unacceptable. But our peacemakers either they benefiting from encouragement money, good relationship money, and they lost their ability to speak. I do believe when you go in a community and you see decadency and poor behavior and violence, I look at the leaders in the community. The leaders in the community, the behavior in the community is a true reflection of the leaders in the community. In Grenada today, we have an upsurge in violence. I verily believe that we could cut the incidence of violence in Grenada and the rest of the Caribbean between 5 to 10 years. I'm planning to do a program specifically on that. Suggestions to reduce the incidence of violence in the Caribbean within 5 to 10 years. It takes a while, but within 5 to 10 years, you're supposed to see significant and dramatic reduction in the incidence of violence. Today in Grenada, there is an upsurge in violence. And if you was listening to my program, I said that there are many factors in Grenada that is contributing to the latest upsurge in violence. From the time the government win the election in 2022, many of their actions contributed directly and indirectly to the upsurge in violence. I was taken aback because I believe we have people well trained in disciplines that should have seen that and call out to the government to cease and desist some of the actions that could lead to a rise in violence. When you come on radio and you say the Dick Mitchell government has contributed to the upsurge in violence, then you expect challenge. So I will list some of the reasons why I say that. And then I dare those who want to challenge me to prove that this action does not contribute to an upsurge in violence. The first one I would list comes from the Attorney General in our country. The Attorney General is a lawyer by profession. She is a woman, perhaps young, but very mature. I believe she is over 35 years. And if you over 25, based on the United Nations principles and standard, you no longer a youth. So if you over 25 years, you're not a youth. Some people call you a young adult based upon the United Nations standard. Based upon most leaders in the world, for political expediency, they claim youth is up to 35. The trade unions advocate that too. So if you're over 35, you're not a youth. But the NNP expanded the age of youth for political and economic reasons. They say a youth is up to 39. And that was principally when they developed the money program. And I agreed with them. Because they was giving young people a second chance. So you had some youth with 5 children, up to 39 years. When you have an attorney general of your country, and you must be strong in certification, academia, that is a lawyer, and that individual is supposed to be a model, and the fact that she is a woman, the liberal woman impact doesn't really take effect in Grenada yet. So when you hear a woman lawyer, you kind of gravitate to the traditional lawyers and the level of decorum and courtly manners that they exhibit. You don't expect the lawyer to behave like a juju. When the Attorney General was jumping up with one hand in the air and firing imaginary shots and singing "Shoot Babylon, Bobo," that was unacceptable. Grossly unacceptable. This you expect from some of the women you meet in dance 3 o'clock in the morning. Not even early. When acts of desperation start taking place and the music is wild and crazy, and they would have consumed much incentives to behave like that. When young people who on the edge of discipline listen to your Attorney General encouraging people to disrespect the police, that is one of the factors that contribute to the upsurge in violence. We had a real life situation in St. Patrick's where individual managed to arrest the gun of a police, and he was in the road pointing it in the air, same as the Attorney General. You had another minister from Carriacou. He was very arrogant and disrespectful young minister. One could forgive him because you would consider him as a glad boy with no experience in discipline and work. And he was beating his chest arrogantly that he cursed the police. That would incite young people to curse the police. You see, it's not only one action. Then you have the sister from Gov. Number instances somewhere where she was very disrespectful to the police. And the police, rightly so, exhibited great tolerance. That is an act that incites violence. But if you think that was bad, let us look at the Prime Minister now, Dick Mitchell. He was on the stage as if he was pasa director and inciting the crowd, pump up the crowd, and inciting the crowd to use objectionable language. And it was not one instance. On at least 3 or 4 occasions, the Prime Minister was in the public place and using objectionable language. language that other people is brought to court for and sometimes sent to jail for. When you have a prime minister of a country that is going to make a public movie for social media where he was playing with weed or consuming weed in the presence of the police, in a home, I understand, that was also a suspect of the police. That is tantamount to open defiant, disrespect, diluting the significance of the police. So that is why I said the government of Grenada maliciously and willingly contributed to the upsurge in crime. I believe we can drop the incidence of crime to a significant and manageable level within 5 to 10 years. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost that caller? So caller, try again. You see the policy of the leaders, the attitude, the behavior of the leaders, whether it's political, religious, civil leaders in the country, have a serious impact on the behavior of the younger ones. So I believe that the crime rate in the Caribbean was as a direct result of the policies and the attitudes of the governments in the Caribbean. The government is a pace setter. The government set the trend. So if the government is behaving bad, sparrows say drunk and disorderly, then the community take the cue and behave badly too. Jamaica in 1962 was one of the most peaceful places in the world. Today, Jamaica is one of the most violent places in the world. And a couple decades ago, we were in a forum discussing the violence level and the potential for the violence to get out of hand in the Caribbean. Of the 30 countries with the highest level of violence, 9 of them is from the Caribbean. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And we must do our utmost to change that. And I verily believe that within a period of 5 to 10 years, we can significantly reduce the incidence of violence in the country. Even in our homes, the behavior of the leaders in the homes. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Pierre, I listened to the movement yesterday. And Mr. Pierre, I don't get it, the new agenda. I don't get the new agenda the movements have for Grenada. Because every day, every government come, what I hear the movement saying, the government for the day today say the same thing. So I don't know what is, I listening to the new agenda, but I don't get it. I don't get the new agenda. So I don't know what the movements come in there to do, because the same thing, the youths, the same thing, healthcare, the same thing, the youth don't have a job, the same thing, cost of living high. Mr. Pierre, come on, tell me. I wanted to comment about that, what they come with, what is the new thing to hear, what I don't hear. I don't hear it. I don't get it because this is everyday life, what I'm listening with every government that come in power. And I don't understand why we come in with that thing. So this thing what they're doing there, and here the name, democratic. These people are then coming to play games. And they have to stop that. And big, big educated people there with these people and them, and they're following them, and they're not telling them, well, no, don't do that. Mr. Pierre, come on. I want you to comment about the movement for me. And Mr. Pierre, I want you to hear Sheldon because I'm telling you, people have to go and intervene. Lato, couple these how they call it, bank, and nobody don't go in and intervene, and only they trouble in Sheldon. I need to hear Sheldon because I don't understand why the people are them doing what they're doing there. And Mr. Tafara Pierre, I don't hear nobody commenting about Mr. Tafara Pierre. I want people to tell them. I want to tell some of us Grenadians, when we dig pit for 2 persons, don't dig pit for one. Rejoice on Mr. Pierre, Mr. Tafara Pierre now, and tomorrow, please God, they don't know where they. So, Mr. Pierre, enjoy your rest of the day.
Yes, and that is 3 big issues. So sometimes it's better you raise one issue today, one tomorrow, and one overmorrow. That is 3 big issues. Have a call on the line? Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
Good morning, good afternoon, Mr. My brother. I listen to you here, and what I hear from you, you're encouraging people to call police because you give them reason to do it. So that's what I tell you, that fact, you encouraging people to cause people and behave bad because you're encouraging them to do it. You give them reason to do it. Instead of telling people not to do that, that is wrong. You give them reason to cause people. You give them reason to behave bad. Mr. Pierre, that ain't good. Mr. Pierre, I listen to...
I wonder if we're on the same program.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You're on the same program.
All right, go ahead.
I listened to the movement last night. And in that one speech, Mr. David made promise that he could never make so much promise in that one speech that he could never keep it. It could never happen. In that one speech where he did last night. Impossible promise. He promised to make Grenada come together. Let me ask you, how the hell, the only time you could make Grenada come together, you have to put them under a gun. Once you have 2 parties in a country, they could never come together. Realize that? Never. You have to have them under a gun to make them to bring them together. That one promise you can't keep it. So a lot of that, but I ain't going to reveal it. But I listening to this movement thing, and this movement is a crap. They have fellas where they just come because they have money, and they are building nothing, just back anything. And I believe Venezuela, Cuba, and China, they will pump money in that party to make them come realize something. But I believe they will fail still because decline is demand for them. Things are happening, Mr. Pierre. Take it from me. Things are happening. One day I will sit down and get a list of the things are happening. I had to listen to it, but I will write it, and I will read it out for you. These are things are happening in this country. I am proud of my government. Mr. Pierre, do you know, last month, the NDC give all them poor people, them poor vulnerable people, they get a card, so they don't have to go and line up as I used to have them line up in the sun, waiting for money. They don't have to do that again. We can't cut out that.
Where they going with the card color?
They're going to any shop.
Which any shop color? Color.
Supermarket.
Color.
Supermarket by me. You have a supermarket by me. They just people just come in and they swipe the card. When they take what they want, they swipe the card and they register and they get back the thing with all the bands and everything. So I don't know where to. If they want to take it all, they swipe what they take things for all. So I don't know what to tell you. That's the best thing ever happened for everyone ever. Years ago, they are couldn't think about that. What are you been doing? What are you talking nonsense? I listen to all you. And up to now, I hear you say nothing good. All are you doing? Condemning, criticizing, and all you can do better. Because all you been there years and years, and all you can do that. So, Pierre, this government, they changed the constitution in this country. And NMP could have never do it.
Caller, stop, stop.
They changed
Caller, stop. That is not what the government doing, how they could interfere with the constitution. Caller, think for yourself. When you go in and interfere in your constitution, unless they use some backdoor highway bribery thing, when you go in and interfere in your constitution, you have to have a referendum. You come on, man. And maybe you're raising too much issues one time. So you can respond to them and, you learn to do better. Raise one issue that you could have evidence for. You're raising those issues and it's difficult to even react to them because you don't even know exactly what you're saying. You don't have the conviction, No one is disputing that the government has done positive things. Every minister of the government, including Deacon, hiding away when they accuse him of bribery, of corruption, of telling lies, of inciting violence, of flaunting the law in the GDP, in the Grenada Development Bank, flaunting the laws of the Grenada Development Bank and raiding the bank, of finding the whistleblower in national lottery. That is what you all have to defend. Yes, caller, welcome. That is what you all have to defend. Yes, the government does one or two things and a continuation of things. The government has brought no new initiative. When you say the government is leading the country back into bankruptcy, you have to take it serious. That 118 million for burial as a result of insurance payment. The houses that they're building are not low-income houses. While the government lie, they deceive, and they trick the people with the 100 housing unit in Carriacou. They take back the keys from the people who received the houses. And now they intend to sell it for them. And these people cannot buy the houses. And they lie. They said they had discussion with the bank and the credit union. They lie. That is what we're asking you to defend. Not what the government give out cards to elderly people. That is a small thing. That is not a big issue. The previous government had serious discussion on that. That is not here and there. Some people still have to go in the bank with the cards. Some of the local shops are not able to take the cards because they don't have the facility, they don't have the education, they don't have the training. So now they force the elderly people to perhaps go to the bigger supermarkets who could take the cards. That is not necessarily good, particularly for the people who live in the rural communities where the businesses there cannot access the cards. You have to be careful, otherwise you're going to just lead Deacon down a drain. Deacon's supposed to like this program. On this program, we give him advice. We're not telling him you're correct in what you do. We give him good advice. And that is some things you all have to defend. Because Deacon is not, no government, and let me put that in your head, no government in Grenada has lost election because of low productivity. No government. Government lose election for corruption and bad management. And when you look at the NDC track record, in 2008, 2013, they could not hold it together. And today, you hear in rumors and speculation. You don't know if it's true. But in politics, perception is reality. So if people believe there are internal fighting, there may not be any internal fighting. But if people believe there are internal wrangling and fightings, and you cannot defend that, then that is reality. Perception become reality. This government has not done justice to the country in the short space of time. The government have fired some individuals from their jobs because it was perceived that they're not yellow. In fact, to add insult to injury, the Prime Minister said publicly, the only reason NNP getting help because they don't know who the real NDC is. The Prime Minister either stupid or that is a political crime when you make a statement like that. You are there to seek the interests of the whole country. When you become Prime Minister, it's not only about your party, it's the whole country. So that means you are making divisions. You're fracturing the very fabric of your society. You Prime Minister, once in the government, they cannot put a line of demarcation between the party and the government. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, scholar.
This cat they give the government give that cat a cat to go to the teller machine, you know. Go and draw the machine, you know. They don't go in front nobody. They to draw the money from the bank, you know.
So they go to the teller machine in the bank?
In the bank, yeah.
Okay.
The cat he talking about. He don't understand what the people say. He just saying they get to go
so
and get
they could go in the teller machine to take out the $500.
To go and get $500.
All right. Okay.
All right, yeah.
Well, thank you, caller. I didn't even have a clue what it is because I'm not on the seed program. I don't benefit from that. And that's why I'm saying you have to know what you're saying when you're raising it up, because we encourage people on the program to tell us the truth. But if you're not certain, you could ask us questions. And even if we cannot answer, somebody might call and clarify it. I want to go back to the person who raised the issue about the movements. Now, I think there is a lot of questions we have to ask Peter David. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, how are you doing today?
Great, caller.
Mr. Pierre, let's talk some politics, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, I will take you back to 1951. You hear me?
Let's go right ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I will take you back to 1951 when adult suffrage right was passed, Mr. Pierre. So before that, people without land couldn't vote, Mr. Pierre. So 1951, they passed adult suffrage right. And Gary came on the scene. And he had the party named the Grenada Manual and Mental Workers Union, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, there were 7 elections from 1951 to 76. And out of that 7 elections, Gary had won 5. And Blaze had won 2 with GNP, Grenada National Party. So Blaze had run Grenada from 1957 to 62. And there was another election from 62 to 67. But let's forward a bit, Mr. But Gary did well, eh? We must not forget that. Remember Skyred, Mr. Bear? Where the British had to send troops to put peace because there was burning on estates and plantations. So there was struggle in the politics. Where we're coming from, Mr. Pierre, to know where we are going. And I'm saying all this to say, most of the people now don't know the history, the politics. Mr. Pierre, Gary had implemented the SU. He had implemented land for the landless. He had done quite a lot in roundabout, Mr. Pierre. The zoo. All the roundabout was organized by Gary. But at the end, power has gotten in his head, Mr. Pierre. He became a dictator. So the invasion, the revolution came on the scene on March 30, 1979, Mr. Pierre. And Mr. Pierre, who was part of the NJM? NJM was formed by 3 political organizations at the time, Mr. Pierre, which was JUIL, Joint Endeavor for Welfare, Education and Liberation. You had MAP, MEP, which was Movement of Assembly for the People, Mr. Pierre. You also had what they call OREL, that was the code group, which was Organization Revolutionary Education and Liberation. These 3 groups came together and formed NJM. And you know what happened March 30, 1979, Mr. Pierre? They took over. But Gary was out of the island. And they suspended the constitution and ruled by decree, or the people law. So, Mr. Pierre, when you come on the radio and say that they jailed 3,000 Rastamen in Hopeville, at the time, that was the norm. That was the law of the day. People like Leslie Pierre, Winston White, Tillman Thomas, who else? Lloyd Noel, all these people was jailed. And the revolution just last 4 years, Mr. Pierre, 4 years. And look at the progress. But I won't get into all the details, Mr. Pierre. And I will end in 1 minute, Mr. Pierre.
Tell me what was some of the progress of the revolution?
Oh, I have it in my head, but Mr. Pierre, I would have liked to.
Well, next time.
It in point form. Hold on. I will give you that information some other day. But Mr. Pierre, what I want to tell you, I say all what I say starting from 51 to now. I want to come to the movement. Just give me 1 minute and I will end. Mr. Pierre, we have to know our history and how the political organization unfold. Mr. Pierre, let's run to 83. After the revolution invasion collapse. We had what they call, Mr. Pierre, an interim government, October 25th, when the Yankee came here. They formed an interim government with Bradford. So Bradford stayed in power until December the 3rd, 1984. The election was called. NMP was formed in August of 84, Mr. Pierre. And NMP was formed by another 3 political groups. GNP, Grenada National Party, that was Blaise Party. He had run Grenada before, I never know that. Then you had NDP, which was National Democratic Party, that was Prison Party. And then you had what they call Grenada Democratic Movement, that was Francis Alexis. They had what they had to call, Mr. Pierre, arbitration or mediation. Where they went? To Union Island. And the arbitrators and mediators was who? John Compton, Tom Adams, and James Mitchell. They had to sit down with Ben Jones, Brizan, Alexis, and Blaise. They was fighting for leadership. But Mr. Pierre, NMP had won the election on December the 3rd. They got 14 seats. In 2 years, which was 86, that Kenny Lalson, Mr. Pierre, and Mr. Physicist Louis, they break away from the party. And 87, 3 years, you have Tillman, Alexis, and Brizan. They left. So Blaise ended up with, out of 14, he ended up with 9, Mr. Pierre. NDC was formed in 87, Mr. Pierre, by these 5 men, name I call. And I would end here, Mr. Pierre. We'll continue because I want other people to call in. But we need to know the history. So when the movement come in, I don't say that there is not a need for a new party. NMP has been on the scene for quite a while. The NEC is not too long ago, but we have to know our history to know where we're going, Mr. Pierre. That's what I want to say. Have a good evening.
Yes, scholar, thank you. And
Best
a lot of important points. Some of them a little need some fixing up. Some of them need some numbers correction and dates. But generally, yeah, I think it's important. I heard you water down Eric Gary a bit, and you say he turned a dictator. But in 1976, Gary went back to the polls. And why Gary remained for 13 and a half years, he went back to the polls early because he had some challenge with Whipple Ned and Nadia Benjamin. So he went back to the polls. And I think that was the period of time when he dropped the age of voting to 18 years. And he won the election 9 seats. So yes, I hear people say a lot of time Gary was a dictator. And Ralph Gonzalez said the very nature of the Constitution provide a lot of power for the Prime Minister. But the two most democratically elected people that ever passed in Grenada was Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell. Anytime these two individuals felt that they had problems from inside, they went back to the polls to get a new mandate from the people. When Mr. Blaze felt he was challenged from the side, he prorogued Parliament. The trade union forced Mr. Blaze to go back to Parliament. Mr. Blaze said on one issue alone, to discuss one issue, the trade union called the members of Mr. Blaze's party together in the Public Workers Union building in St. George's and discussed with them. Finsley St. Louis say, you don't order in us, you begging us. I say, whether we begging, we pleading, we asking, or we bawling, we want all to go back in Parliament. So they went back in Parliament. And Mr. Blaze said only one subject on the agenda, to give the government a mandate to get the money to pay us. Because Mr. Blaze was concerned that they're going to move a motion on no confidence against it. When Tillman Thomas was under pressure with Peter David and them, he prorogued Parliament. So don't come and tell me Gary was a dictator. When pressure was placed on Gary, he set up the Duffus Commissioner report. Look at the thieving that's going on in NDC now. They're not even responding to it. What's going on there is common thieves. They flaunt the law of the Grenada Development Bank. They fire the whistleblower that come from their own party. And they're paying extra money to the ministers for good relationship. This thing, they are common thieves. We must prepare to deal with truth and make it factual. You could call Gary what you want. He was eccentric. He speak about the great omnipotent God. He dressed in a flashy manner. But when he was challenged, he raced back to the polls for a new mandate. The two most democratically elected leaders in Grenada is Kit Mitchell and Eric Gary. The two most tolerant political leaders to criticism in Grenada is Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell. When Maurice Bishop went in Simoon, in the people people's court and he laid charges against Gary and he signed a warrant for the arrest of the Prime Minister. Gary never tell him nothing. He gave him 14 days to report to the nearest police station. And when the 14 days up, Gary's supporters beat up Maurice Bishop and them in Grenville. I'm sorry they didn't give them more. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, you say Gary and Kid Mitchell was the two powerful men in politics.
The two most democratically leaders. And I said why.
How they on the $50 note? Where they go? They go hide.
How the scholar, what that have to do with the $50 note?
When even
Caller.
That's why there.
Caller.
Iran is a hero. That's why they're there.
All right, caller. Thank you. I mean, come on, you have to do wise too. The decision to put people on the $50 quote, $50 note was Deacon's decision. I'm certain Deacon did not involve Dennis in it. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
Good day.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to support you that the two leaders, democratically, as you have said, is so Eric Matthew Gary and Dr. the Right Honorable Kit Mitchell. And there are facts to back up. And let me also say that St. Andrews Northeast, yes, in 1984, that seat was won by Marcel Peters on the GULP ticket. Yes? And then in 1990, GULP won that seat again, I think with Dr. Lawrence Gibbs. You could help me.
Yes, Lawrence Gibbs.
Yes. And on until 1995 with Oliver Archibald, NNP. Then you come back up to today, Roland Bola for 3 terms, NNP. And you have Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis on again on the battlefield, MP. And so this constituency, I should say, has a remarkable history of NNP and GLP and will continue because caring for the working people and people in general, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. So NNP and GLP, the best party leaders that led and lead this country in the best of times. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
Caller, I'm in full agreement with you. And I believe one of the challenges in this country is a lot of people don't defend their political party. Because some people believe they're intelligent or they're highly certificated and they had access to the media, they use it with impunity. But I believe members of the political party must defend what is right and good. When you're speaking about Kit Mitchell in Grenada, you could feel very proud. Yes, caller, welcome.
You know what I'm proud about in Grenada? The leadership of Deacon Mitchell. He's transforming Grenada in culture, in education. Thus far, they fulfill over 70% of what they promised. So I have to be proud as a young leader. Remember, he never was in politics before. Remember, everybody call him a rogue. They say young and inexperienced. And the kind of things that happening now in Grenada in terms of what he's doing. He's linking with Africa, reforming. Look at the amount of work in infrastructural work that's been done. The amount of schools that's been built. Pension, gratuity. And all these things, you have to give first to that. You should be giving first to that, not so?
Caller, you want to answer me on that? Why I'm not giving any praise to Deacon?
Well, I think you should. In
No,
all
I'm
honesty,
asking you if you want to defend.
You will sound more convincing to the audience if you
Caller.
just do that. Then it
Caller.
will show as if like
Caller,
you're balanced and fair.
caller. 50 years after independence, how comfortable you are with a leader that considers some of the people in Grenada as classless, commoners, and beggy.
Well, that's the way how you portray it. But you know that's not when he speaks. He's a lawyer. He could defend himself. But you all know
but
the kind of a person he is. You know that. If
somebody said that you was promoting classism and you considered people as classless, commoners, and beggy, would you have defended or provide explanation?
In the Prime Minister's mind, in Mr. Deacon Mitchell's mind, he knew exactly what he was referring to whenever he speaks, whenever he articulates. And everybody knows, and the population knows that he's a person that speaks to everybody.
Caller, you're not a junior boy. You sung, I don't know you, but you sung as a big man that are accustomed with debate and such. The Prime Minister is a politician. And
he's not a politician, and that's where you're wrong. He's not a politician. And this is where that's the big misconception we have.
Caller,
we in the political domain. Deacon Mitchell is a statesman, because before he entered politics, he was doing a lot for Grenada. You understand? He never boasts and brag about it, and that's the difference.
Caller, he's a big man. When people speaking, sure, give you an opportunity to speak. Are you comfortable, caller, with the Prime Minister when he said the only reason the others get in is because they don't know who the real yellow is? Are you comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with the decision he's making to make Grenada a better place in terms of
thank you, caller. Thank you very much. See, that's one of the challenges we have. That's why I tell you. Oh, yes. And time moves fast. And we're in the end of the line now. And I think perhaps I want to make that point again. I'm disappointed in CARICOM leaders. I believe CARICOM leaders should set up a negotiating team and engage Donald Trump and the United States of America to discuss with a view to intercede, to mediate, to get involved for a peaceful purpose, for the impasse between Venezuela and the Caribbean. If there is any war there, flights would not be able to come. And our economy is so tied up with the United States of America that it's going to affect us economically. And if the Caribbean is genuine and they want a zone of peace, that was an opportunity for negotiation. Guyana, Venezuela is one of the bullies in the Caribbean. They have problem with Dominica for border island. They have problem with Grenada. They have problem with Trinidad and Tobago. And they threaten to invade Guyana. And I support Camela from Trinidad and Tobago. I support opposition. Venezuela is our aggressor. Over 47,000 Venezuelans are in Trinidad. And while I'm a man who believes in immigration, the manner in which they come could put pressure on the society. Kamala is saying that they are contributing to the increase in violence in Trinidad. And Mundura is hostile. So it is better for Trinidad if they sign a pact with the United States of America, because they can't beat Venezuela. It is better for Guyana if they sign a pact with the United States of America, because they can't beat Venezuela. Guyana joined the RSS in 2022. And that was one of the reasons they joined the RSS. We are misled in Grenada. Ralph Gonzalez is now fighting for his political life. But while he is doing that, he is negotiating with the United States to have freedom of travel, free visa, something like that. That the United States must remove the visa from Vincentian. And he giving all reason why. He is one of the only country that don't have the CBI program. So while he is encouraging Grenada Prime Minister to go in one direction, he is negotiating with the United States of this situation. So CARICOM leaders, you should be wise. I notice you like to pick up your sword and join battles that is not in your interest. You support Hamas. You support the Palestine. You want the annihilation of Israel. I don't think that is in your interest. You should have advocated peace. It was better if you advocate peace and don't take sides. Israel is a small country, about 7-10 million people. And as a result, you stand to benefit more from a closer working relationship with Israel. Your economy lives in the front door of the United States of America. And your people is more inclined to travel to the US. So it is not in your economic or geopolitical interest to have United States as a hostile neighbor. I think most of the leaders in the Caribbean are atheists. Most of the leaders in the Caribbean, they gravitate to communism. And they have a love-hate relationship with America. They like them Grenadian communists. Those are used to ball. If you touch Nicaragua, you touch Cuba, you touch Grenada, AK speaking Spanish, Reagan can understand it. As soon as the communist regime fell in Grenada, all of them go to the United States of America. So consider it a love-hate relationship. They wouldn't go to Cuba. Ask yourself why the people in the communist country want to come in the West. Communism has failed. They believe in jailing people who disagree with them. And another day, we will talk about the movement. But we want to thank you for participating in our program. We want to remind you to help us grow. We have a small economy in Grenada. We have a small population. And we're very polarized politically. But it's better we promote the Grenadians' programs. Because who knows? Next time you might like our program. Thank you very much.
When the clock hits 12, you know where to be. Turn it up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend.